Welcome to Mrs. Moneybags Live. This episode is sponsored by quickequity.ca, getting you to money fast. Nicole Williams, Agent Level 2, and Team Quick Equity are powered by Canadian Tailored Mortgage Solutions, license number 13228. Nicole and Team quickequity.ca provide customized mortgage solutions to clients all across Canada. I am your host, Nicole Williams, aka Mrs. Moneybags. We go live Monday to Friday, keeping you posted on the latest financial developments, market trends, and economic news, helping our viewers make informed decisions about their money. Reminder to do your own research. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. And it is very important to do your own analysis before making any investments and to seek independent financial advice. Let's get into it. So we are in 2024. Happy New Year to all of our viewers. We are so thankful that you've decided to continue to join us on this journey with Miss Moneybags Live, where we will be discussing, like I said, everyday market news that affects you. So let's get into today's industry headlines, straight from the news. Okay, so here's your summary of mortgage and housing news from across Canada for Monday, January the 8th, 2024. I saw a very interesting article, and I've been hearing a little bit of information about this, and this is something that I really want to cover. So it's Calgary transforms old offices to apartments, and experts are saying that other cities should follow suit. Okay, so let's get into this. So no community anywhere would willingly choose to have nearly 30% office vacancy rate in its downtown core. But faced with that problem, one Canadian city came up with a plan that is now being held as a model for the rest of the country amid an ongoing national housing crisis. Calgary has been busily working to convert unused office towers to residential housing, thanks to the city's one-of-a-kind incentive program for developers. In just 2 years, the program has resulted in the approval of 13 office to residential conversions, with more still underway. That's very interesting. So 13 offices are going to be converted into residential projects. Very interesting. The first project, the $38 million conversion of an underused 10-story office building into 112 residential apartment units, is nearly complete and expected to open early this year. Several more projects are currently under construction. Proponents say that early success of this program has shown that office to residential conversions can work, and that the idea can be a part of a solution in a country facing a massive shortfall in its housing inventory. So there's no secret that, Canada, with its immigration influx and just the lack of inventory that we already have, that we do have a housing shortfall. So Calgary seems to be onto something. I think this can work within the majority of cities, especially any major Canadian city, because in my point of view, so this is the author's point of view, we're all struggling with providing enough homes, says Walsh Manaz. He's a principal with commercial real estate firm Avian Young of Calgary's Downtown Development Incentive Program. Any market where municipalities are going to incentivize residential development, I think, could have success with this in various degrees. It is also unique to North America. Calgary's Downtown Development Incentive Program, which offers $75 per square foot to building owners willing to convert underused office space to residential apartments, is unique to North America. It was launched in 2021 at a time when the city, home to more corporate head offices per capita than anywhere else in Canada, was reeling in the wake of an extended downturn to oil prices and the COVID-19 pandemic. Commercial property values in the city's core had collapsed due to the wave of energy sector layoffs and the consolidation that had left close to a third of Calgary's downtown office space empty. Desperate to fill nearly 13.5 million square feet of unoccupied space and boost its dwindling tax base, Calgary launched the incentive program with the goal of removing 6 million square feet of empty offices from the city's downtown by 2031. The program turned out to be so popular that in October of 2023, the city was forced to press pause after reaching its $253 million funding threshold. When we launched the program, we didn't know if we were going to get one application or 10. This is according to Cheryl McMillan, who manages the program for the city of Calgary. We ended up getting 15 in just the first round. So we knew we'd done something right when we had the number of building owners interested. With Canadian housing crisis, Canada is in the midst of a housing crisis. One estimate from the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation suggests an additional 3.5 million new units must be built by the end of the decade to supply affordable housing to the people who need it. Office to residential conversions aren't a silver bullet, said Greg Kwong, who's an Alberta managing director for commercial real estate and with the firm CBRE. But they can be a piece of the puzzle. He pointed out many cities are grappling with excessive downtown office space in the wake of the pandemic and the work from home trend. It's not the overall pancreas, it's just one of the many levers that we have to be pulling. So we have to be pulling to get our downtown cores more vibrant and alive again. This is a problem that will affect more cities than just Calgary. So they're talking about now the national problem. In the third quarter of 2023, statistics showed that Vancouver and Toronto both had downtown commercial vacancy rates of 12.5%, while Ottawa had a downtown vacancy rate of 14.7%. In both Edmonton and Montreal, more than 20% of available downtown office space sits empty. The office market in Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal is still in a much better place than Calgary, but these cities are also struggling through the post-COVID office market. I think it will take time to work through what the new reality of vacancies is. And dependent on how much those vacancies grow, office to residential becomes an even better opportunity. So in the chat below, what are your thoughts on converting office space into residential units? For me, I think it's clever if you're not getting if the vacancy numbers are so high because now commercial or corporate or business clients are no longer utilizing those spaces, then it basically indicates to me that there is an opportunity to convert that space. You don't want wasted space. And also, back to what was said earlier in the article, it is lost revenue for these cities because remember, these cities are able to charge taxes. And if you don't have anybody there, yes, the landowners or the building owners will have to pay taxes, but you're still not generating the amount of income that you can, because then what happens is businesses no longer want to reside within your thresholds, or they now want to move out. And it definitely does put a drain on the overall government purse, if you want to put it that way. So what are your thoughts on this particular article and the fact that Calgary has had such success converting commercial units into residential spaces? A reminder, they did have to put the program on pause as of October 2023. This just indicates to me that the demand is is super high. This was launched in 2021, and in less than 2 years, they've tapped out of their $253 million funding threshold. They've tapped out of that budget. So this just shows me that there is opportunity and that governments do need to start thinking creatively on how to solve the housing issues. Do I feel as though this is the only solution? No. Back to what one of the gentlemen said throughout the article, this is just a piece of the puzzle. It's not the total pie, it's just a part of the pie. But very, very interesting on how Calgary has been able to not only be a first within the Canadian landscape, they're also saying that they're unique to North America, meaning that there aren't a lot of other cities outside of Calgary who are doing this type of incentivized program. They're not saying that people don't convert. Those things do happen. It's more of the development incentive that these builders are receiving or these owners are receiving in order to make that conversion from commercial to residential. Very interesting. Drop in the chat below, what are your thoughts? Do you think this is successful? And would you, if you owned a commercial unit, convert it into residential space? Type below. Let us know your thoughts. Again, this is supposed to be an interactive show where we share our thoughts, our opinions, where we can learn about what's happening, be on the forefront of market news. And so we can learn how to strategize and take advantage of every single opportunity, okay? Let's also tap into another interesting article, because it is very clear that Indigenous and real estate, we don't really hear too much conversation about Indigenous individuals and real estate as far as the economic opportunities that are available. So there is a great article that has been written that says the Indigenous-led housing model is supported by Fernie. Okay, so I'm not too familiar with all of these particular areas within Canada. But what is very important is the fact that there is programs that are being opened up to encourage Indigenous-led housing. Okay, so the City of Fernie unanimously accepted Kakian Lands and Resource Development Corporation's request for a letter of support to help the organization participate in Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, better known as CMHC's Housing Supply Challenge Level Up program at their recent special council meeting. Kakian's CEO, Trent Fequin, I might be mispronouncing the name, petitioned for the city's backing as a progressive innovator for the regional development in the Kunatis. Through our discussions with organizations and municipalities such as yours, no issue is more pressing than the need for rapid, sustainable, and affordable housing, he said in a letter to the mayor and council. The Level Up program will grant $1 million to 20 foundational solutions to the housing crisis, according to Fequin. Level Up is addressing the entrenched housing affordability crisis in Canada. To increase housing productivity, we must transform the housing sector to meet the nation's housing needs more swiftly and cost-effectively. The initiative aims to help streamline, automate, and increase the production of housing in Canada to meet the lack of supply and the massive demand for affordable accommodations. Kekin has developed an Indigenous-led model as a prototype to be replicated by First Nations communities. By synergizing the needs of First Nations, municipalities, and industry, we will localize construction, reduce barriers and red tape, and shorten the timeline to increase the overall supply of units. With the Council's support, Kekin can submit their solution to CMHC, qualifying them for the potential $1 million to go towards the developing of their vision. A slight amendment to the wording in the letter provided to the city was decided upon by the mayor and the councillor after it was received by Councillor Kyle Hamilton and second by the Council Troy Nixon. Successful solutions will lead to quicker development, reduced costs, and permanent improvements in Canada's housing delivery process. So very interesting and great to note that in today's economy and in today's society, there are opportunities that are looking for the Indigenous community to be involved. As a Black woman myself, I know how real estate is important to the development of the thought also of economic growth support futuristically, and not only just for today, but just for generations to come. And when we think about generational wealth and the fact that we're moving to include Indigenous-led companies to be a part of the construction and the solutions that they will eventually benefit from, it's also very keen, because why bring in other communities to take advantage or to build for them when they know how to build or what they need, what is needed for their success. And if this is an opportunity for them to learn, then this is also great. It's an opportunity for them to provide solutions for their community at large, which I believe, whenever you're getting the direct consumers involved, that is the best thing that you could possibly do. Okay. So let's go through another headline. Okay. So reflections on a turbulent year in the real estate market in Durham. Okay, so Durham region. The final chapter of 2023 is now closed, and in real estate history books, it was quite the year. If we ponder where we were a year ago, homes were selling with conditions returned. The average home in Oshawa, Whitby, and Clarington sold for the asking price, and in January, 260 homes were sold in total. Detached homes in Oshawa started the year off selling for about $841,000, and by the end of the year, the average was $791,000. So Whitby went from $1.182 million to $1.091 million. And Clarington started the year at $813,000 as an average, and it finished at $858,000. So Clarington actually did the opposite of the other regions within Durham. The prices have stabilized, and there is some sense of normalcy returning to the market, with lower selling prices offset by higher borrowing cost. We've seen this across the board. The question that continues to come up is how an opportunity for buyers is now an opportunity for buyers. And I believe it is, and here's my reasoning. This is according to the author. It was identified in a task for affordability in 2022 that Canada needed 1.2 million living units to average the number of units in all other G7 countries. Housing crisis was a term used to describe the real estate market. Since then, Canada has grown by over 1.5 million people, due in part to immigration, refugees, and international students. The housing crisis has become more extreme, and in the end, all of these new residents need a roof over their heads. This has added to rent skyrocketing. Buyers' hesitancy is not just a result of increased mortgage rates. It is mostly due to the uncertainty of the market. When a buyer is sitting and watching the market considering to purchase of a property, they want to know that their investment will be secure and will grow over time. Since spring of 2022, we have seen values slip, which cause unease not only in buyers, but also in sellers who tend to wait for prices to rise again. We are currently witnessing fence sitting by both buyers and sellers adding to low inventory, longer market times, and prices remaining flat. My experience tells me that a flat market like the one we have rarely lasts long. And when I'm speaking in first person, again, I am reading an article, so it's not my words, they're the words of the author. I remember being on a flight to Phoenix in 2012, and everyone around me on the plane was heading down to Arizona to pick up bargains with property values dropping. That opportunity was over within a year. To understand where we are headed, a quick check in local media will have articles about rates dropping in late spring, inflation is down, rates are coming down, and confidence is returning. These positive steps will cause the buyers to step off their fences and secure homes at prices we may never see again. There is a saying, no one rings a bell at the bottom, and I feel we have already seen the bottom. December tends to be a slower month. However, in the last 2 weeks of the year, from Whitby to Clarington, we saw 152 homes in total sell. With more than 10% of all sales dropping, 1 million buyers have an opportunity to buy if they can get in at the beginning of the flurry of activity. They will be thousands of dollars ahead of those who wait. It is the opportunity time here in Durham region. So this article is saying that at the beginning of 2023, prices pretty much across Durham region, with the exception of Clarington, were higher than they ended at the end of 2023. For this author, there seems to be opportunity. Yes, the cost of borrowing is higher, but we've already started to see it. So the author isn't incorrect in saying that we are starting to see some price stabilization when it comes to interest rates. Do we foresee rates going back to pre-pandemic levels? Perhaps not, but we are starting to see them, taper off and really stable off in the sense where people are becoming comfortable or used to now the new inflationary pressures, numbers, budgets, etc. Also, inflation numbers are down. So I guess the cost of goods have also come down across the board. Are we where we used to be? No. Are we at the government's targets? No. But the numbers are feeling much more comfortable now than perhaps 2-3 months ago. So according to this author, they believe there is a lot of opportunity because if prices are relatively lower now than they were at the beginning of 2023, and we are now starting to see the inflationary pressures come down and interest rates start to come down, there may be opportunity for those individuals who can qualify. So again, these were just some of the headlines that we took from major articles to just review and discuss. What are your thoughts? Are you from the Durham region? If you're from the Durham region, type in 1 in the comments below. And if you're in the Durham region, do you currently own? So if you own, say yes, I own in the chat. And if you don't own and you're looking to get into the market, do these numbers and what is being shared, does this encourage you to enter the market? Type your comments below in the chat and let's get some dialogue about what our thoughts are. So for many of you who know I am a mortgage agent, my office is in the Durham region, so I am very familiar with this particular area. And I do believe there is a lot of opportunity. So for my clients, we are looking to see, okay, how can we get into the market effectively? What are things that we can do to positively ensure our success? That is why we do pre-qualify all of our clients before even just submitting an actual pre-approval. We look at their full lifestyle, their full budget, What will this do to your family's budget if you are to purchase? Is there an opportunity for you to get rental income? Because certain parts of Durham, we are able to get duplexes for clients where they might reside upstairs and rent the basement, and those are opportunities to help with cash flow as well. But again, keeping in mind that there is opportunity based on the value having come down from the beginning of 2023 to where we are now, with rates also stabilizing, there may be opportunity for individuals. What are your thoughts? Type them in the comment below. Let us know. And also let us know if you have any questions pertaining to any of the articles that we reviewed. So just to recap, Calgary is onto something. They're converting their commercial units into residential units. They're hoping that this will help to ease some of the pressures that we are feeling, in the vacancies due to businesses having been unfortunately affected over the last couple of years through the prices of oil, as well as the pandemic, as well as they're hoping that these will assist with all these new residential numbers with the the housing shortage in which we have. There is a housing shortage within basically all of Canada, and it was already a shortage before the increase in immigration, the increase in refugees, the increase in foreign students. So anything that they can do to help bridge this gap is definitely warranted. And then the second article talked about the fact that the Indigenous companies are being included, or they want to be included in what's to be happening when it comes to construction, specifically when it comes to the development of what will benefit them in the long run. And I'm in total agreement with that. I think that is great when you have the communities that are not only the stakeholders, but they are also being able to participate. So it's a great thing. And then we're seeing opportunity within Durham region. So yes, the numbers are down. They ended on a down level from 2023 as far as the housing cost, but this can present an opportunity for buyers looking to enter the market. Again, drop in the comments what your thoughts are, if you have any particular agreements or disagreements with anything that was covered today. But I also want to remind you that the financial tip of the day is that you will get out of life what you prepare for. So the more prepared you are, if you are looking to enter the housing market, the better you will be when it comes time for you to actually pounce on it. So if you are prepared when it comes time for you to purchase, it would be a lot more smoother of a process. So my thing is, if you are one of the individuals that are sitting on the fence, don't know what you want to do, it's about getting prepared. We do offer free consultations for anybody who's interested. There's no obligation, and we allow you to just kind of go through your numbers, review where you stand, and see if there's an opportunity for you to enter and be successful when you enter the marketplace. This is a part of preparation, okay? Preparing for the possible purchase. And with that being said, we're going to go to the Miss Moneybags affirmation of the day, okay? So I am a magnet for financial success and opportunities. I am a magnet for financial success and opportunities. We're going to say that together 3 times, okay? I am a magnet for financial success and opportunities. I am a magnet for financial success and opportunities. I am a magnet for financial success and opportunities. So that is all the time we have for today. Thanks for watching Mrs. Moneybags Live, and we'll see you again tomorrow.